Is your Midea U air conditioner filled with mold? Got recalled? Let's open this up and have a look. Oh yeah, doesn't look good. Let's get it opened up, take it apart, and clean it. Make sure you unplug the unit. Step one, we're gonna take off the cover here for the thing. This is dirty, so we're gonna wanna clean that later. So we wanna remove this panel. I've got a power drill, which is what I like to use, and so we're gonna take off these 3 screws. And I forgot my little screw sorter, so we're gonna grab that and put these in it. Make sure to keep the little plastics on them. This was a package of frozen pork shumai. Look at those little circles. Don't they seem perfect for putting some screws in? Okay, we took the screws off. Next step is getting this piece off. There are little clips along here that hold it in, so we're just gonna press in until we loosen them. You see they're kind of coming apart there. And you squeeze, close that. Kind of just keep squeezing all the way around. I think that's all on that side. Yeah, now we're up to the top. So I'm gonna kind of press along the top until I find the connection points. There we go. And just gonna keep working it like that. Just keep the pressure on. That one's out, that one's out. You can see the clips right here. It does require quite a bit of pressure, so don't worry, don't feel like you're gonna break it. Like I'm really pushing in there, you can see. There we go. A little more. I think there's like one more piece. There we go. Okay, this piece is out. It's got a bunch of electronics in it, so now we're going to need to unhook those. Okay, so over here is the Wi-Fi connector. That's this guy right here. He's got a little white tab on the top. I'll kind of get my finger in and press in there. Don't mind my purple fingers. I was picking mulberries earlier. And we'll depress that little tab until we got it. Come on. It's like this, I think. There we go. Okay, there's that. Okay, we want to disconnect these two, the white one and the black one. The blue one stays, it's connected to the same panel. So for this, we're going to take this little white holder off. I'll set that right there. We're going to press down on this little release and this other, squeeze this little release right here. So one on both sides, that comes apart. This one's pretty simple. There's a little trigger on the top. You kind of press that down and wiggle it out. That's that. Next up, we want to take off the rear part of the housing. We're going to take off the mount screw here and this other screw that holds the side on, which is this one right here. And then we'll have to unscrew this to get that out of the way. Okay, set all those aside. Repeat the process right over here. Unscrew the mount, unscrew the housing, take out the other mount screw, which is a little tight in there. Got it. 2 more screws on the top, right here, and right here. Whoop. Now the housing should lift right off. We should open the window first, because the little anti-window opening mechanism kind of gets caught right here. There we go, easier to take out that way. This gray part, the fan housing, is the part that we're trying to remove here. So we want to take out this screw, this one, so just these 2. Go ahead and start here. And this guy right here. On this side, we're going to get to a couple that are kind of hidden back here behind this piece of foam. So I'm going to pull out a knife, a little utility knife, whoops, and cut away. Try not to take too much of it off because we're going to stick it back on here. But you know, you do your best. Okay, and then it's kind of stuck on this coil down here. We'll peel that away a little bit. Okay, that's good, and that will get us to the screw. Well, that one's not even here. There's one up here. Can I bend that back enough to show you? There's a screw right there, and there's another one down here. And there's a screw in this thing right down here that we want to get to. I've got a little extender for my drill I'm going to put on, and then get in here and get these. That's 1. That's 2. And we'll go ahead and take this one out down here. Magnetic drill bits are very helpful. There's a difference in the screws. The ones that are screwed into the radiator are pointy, and the ones that are screwed plastic on plastic are flat. We're going to take out this screw in the connector housing here. This part is where the connectors that control the fan are. Okay, there's our connector. We only need to take out this one. That other one can stay in there. You see this little red thing down here? Little holder here that kind of secures the connector. So we're going to loosen the right side of that one and then the left side of that one and slide that out. And then we're going to press the little teeth right here and pull that out. There we go. That's done. And then there's a tricky screw here in the back of the housing. You actually don't have to take that screw out. That just holds the front and back of the fan housing together, the gray parts. You can lift the whole unit out without taking that screw out. You're going to take the screw out in the next step once you're disassembling that thing. So skip this. Now with all of that removed, we should be able to just slide the housing. Should be able to lift this up and out. Yep, there it is. There is our dirty thing. We're going to take this outside and clean it. Okay, so we've got it outside. I've got some vinegar in a spray bottle. It's just actual vinegar, straight vinegar. And I've got this little bristly brush that we're gonna use. I need the screwdriver to take one little screw out right here. And and we need to take the housing apart. So let me cover this up because the motor is getting rained on. Okay, grabbed a little container for some screws. Gonna take out the screw that holds the fan in place. This is a little guy right here. This little thing. And then we're going to take the housing apart. So one screw there. Screw over here. Turn it around. One right here. And I think that might be all the screws that hold the housing together. That tricky screw in the back of the housing, take that out now. Yeah, so now there are little clips right on the side that we want to kind of pry out. So we're going to push right there. Then I'm going to push this one like, let's see. Yeah, that one's coming out. There's another clip right there. And then on the other side, clip right here on the bottom. Okay, and then this one, that one's kind of loose. And then there's a couple on the top right here and here. So I'm going to kind of reach in behind here and push these out like that. There we go. That's that piece. Here's our thing. Take the motor out. I'm going to set the motor inside where it can stay dry. And this part is pretty clean. So I'm going to set it. Oh, no. There's a little bit of mold right there. So we'll leave it out. We'll just try to not get that connector too wet. Motor stays dry. Take it inside. Okay, now we're on to the cleaning portion of our attempt. See lots of mold in there, so we're going to spray all that with a healthy dose of vinegar. We'll get the whole thing. And then we'll set that aside. Clean out this thing. And then we'll set the fan blades back in there. And so the last time I hosed it down, I think I might do that to kind of get most of the stuff off. This is probably more than enough vinegar. So let's take it around and give it the hose. I'll leave this little rubber roller piece right there. Okay, I'm gonna grab some paper towels. I'm gonna wipe off the mold on the inside here. And we've got some on the vent. So I need to get to the back side of this thing, which I think I might be able to do right here. There we go. That'll do, look at that. Don't want to breathe that in, not at all. So that's that. Let's have another look inside. It looks a lot better. There's still a tiny bit on the back fin of this thing. So I'm going to try to take this off. What I saw somebody do is kind of press up. Yeah, there we go. That came right out. Wipe, wipe. So let's talk about why this happens. This little contraption where the fan lives, condensation builds up in here while the air conditioner's running. And then this little door closes when you turn it off, so it doesn't have time to dry out. So the moisture gets trapped inside here and it molds. It happens with other air conditioners. This isn't the only air conditioner that's prone to mold building up, but this is one of the most popular air conditioners, and so the problems really pop up when, let's start the motor side maybe. No, let me put this back on the side. There. Okay, so it's really wet right now, so when I put it back together, I'm going to run it for a while to dry out. Next step is to clean this. Where did I put my little brush? Did I put it in my utility belt here? Or did I leave it out here somewhere? Yep, there it is. Let's make sure that you can see this. So our objective here is to keep it dry in the future once we get it cleaned. And you could probably do this process once a year or run the fan more frequently. I'm going to turn it over and do it this way. So that's what I did last time, and I started right where the little metal pieces are so that I kind of knew where I was. And just do this. And I'm just going to do this for every single fin until it's clean. And how long does it take? Just a few minutes. If you were listening to some music or podcast, comedy, or watching a show or something, wouldn't take you very long. If you don't have a backyard or access to a hose, you could, clean it in a sink or a bathtub or something, I'm sure. But if you can do it outside, I think that's a little bit better. If you're doing it inside, I would say to have the windows open and ventilate all of this gunk that you don't want to be breathing in, since that's the whole idea. So yeah, we want to keep it dry in the future. Some people mentioned spraying it with vinegar like once or twice a year. You could do that. Like maybe get the start and the middle and the end of the season that you're using it. And that's pretty easy. Oh, these are smart air conditioners. You can just kind of plan out, like, if you always turn it off at 4 in the morning, schedule that in your app, and then schedule it to run the fan for an hour, and bam, problem solved. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is we already have a schedule that this runs on, and I'm just going to add an hour of fan after that schedule terminates, and hopefully that will solve our problem. Some people take the little door off. They just take this off and don't put it back on. I kind of like it. I mean, I love that little door. I think it's pretty, and it's something that I really love about this air conditioner. I'm going to see, I signed up for the repair from the manufacturer during the recall, and so it said in 2 to 4 weeks a repair person will come out and make some sort of adjustment, like drilling some holes or putting a drain cord or something in. So we'll see what they do and if it really makes much of a difference. And I doubt that I will check back in with you on that, but if I do, I'll put it in the comments. And anyway, this is a pretty easy repair, honestly, if you can call it a repair. It's a cleaning. It does involve dismantling it. I watched some other videos of people cleaning this, but they didn't take it apart. Like the video that I saw, the guy went in through here and then just like pried all this stuff out and clipped part of this little gate, which works, I guess, but then you got to like clean it through that little tiny opening when like it's really not that hard to take it apart. Like, I used a drill, but you could use a regular old screwdriver. That would work just fine. So if you have one Phillips screwdriver, I'm sure you could do this entire project. And, you need to be comfortable with it. And most importantly, you need to not break the electrical connectors when you're disconnecting those. So, it helps that I have a lot of experience working with electronics. And so if this is your first time doing that, be especially careful with those. But if you have any experience working on electronics, you'll find that they're pretty easy as far as connectors go. And we're almost done here, and so I've done this in real time. I think I'm recording, yeah. And so however long it takes me is how long it takes to scrub this thing out. This little brush came with the OXO cleaning brush kit, and you can pick that up for a few bucks if you want to use this. But if you have anything else, like a pipe cleaner or something, I'm sure it would work just as well. And you can see that it's getting this gunk all over my hands. I could have worn gloves, but I'll just wash my hands and I will survive. And I think that I've been through all of them. So that's it. There's all the gunk we don't want to be breathing in. We'll wipe that off with our multiple paper towels here. And so I think I'll go hose it down one more time and then we'll put it back together. And I'm not going to film that because the hose is on the other side of the house. I'm not carrying the camera over there again. Just to note that I am drying this very thoroughly because moisture that was trapped inside this housing is what caused this whole problem in the first place. So I do want it to be exceptionally dry. Oh, that's right. I forgot my special little trick. Let's set this back right here. I might need to put it back on the motor for this. I have this little inflator that we use to inflate the inflatable pools and such, little air pump. So I'm going to put the motor back on. We'll line that up. Put our screw back in. Here's this. Here's our screw right here. And just feed that through onto that little thing. Okay. Now, this part's going to be loud, guys. So we may or may not mute the audio in this. I might just turn off my microphone for this portion of the festivities. So there's this guy. I'll set that right there. We'll see how loud it ends up being. I'm just going to kind of shield the microphone here from the noise. And all right, isn't that fun? There's a little bit of mildew on those little blades, which I think you can pop out, but also it looks like this metal thing is just held in here by one screw. So let's take that one screw out. Yeah, and that moves just well enough out of the way that I can wipe the back of those guys. So let's do that. Oh, and it pops out like that. This goes in there and there and there. We'll put our one little screw back in right here. Stick this back on here, and is that where that wire went? Yeah. Okay. And we want to work our clamps back in. There are two, is that the right word? Clips? Clips. Right there. Slide all of our clips back in, kind of starting at the top and going at an angle. Start on the top. Just like, come on, you can do it. I can do it. Come on. There we go. There we go. And then, there we go. Those are all in. Flip it around to this side. Get everything lined up. There we go. That's all clipped in. We'll dry it some more once we're inside. For now, we'll put the screws back in. Can we see this one? Is that in frame? Yep. It's down there. And the last one's right here. Time to take it back inside and put it all back together. The foam on the back was a little wet from where I was working on it outside, so I did dry that off. And so now, there's still a tiny bit of water in here, so I'm going to grab some more paper towels and get it completely dry. There's a little bit of mildew on the power cord. I'm just going to wipe it up real quick. I am going to grab the vinegar and spray the power cord here. And I think that's the only area I see on the inside that has an issue. Okay, little spray right here. If you see some mildew hanging out somewhere, you do the same. And while we're here, we might as well clean this section in the middle where the window closes on it. It could be a little bit cleaner. Why not? Let's get our fan assembly. And we're going to bring it in at an angle. So down towards the bottom, right there. So I went kind of straight down, and then I'm going to lean it forward until the screw things line up. And that's that. Now we're going to start by putting this connector back. So that one's already fine right there. Let's grab the little housing unit. Here's our little connector housing. Oh, it looks like I broke it. That's good news. So I needed a better prying tool. so that I didn't do that. Let's see, we need this connector right here. There's the little maroon piece that held that together. Let's try to get it in closer so you can kind of see a little better what we're working on here. About like right there. Okay. This piece goes in the back and clips onto those two little pieces like this. There we go. And then clip it on to that. All right, that's connected. Bring this around to close. And our other screw was down here on the bottom, and all of this stuff is kind of in the way of it, and it's very difficult to see. I might have to move the camera just so I can see what I'm doing here. So sorry, but you won't get to see this one quite so well. I didn't want to waste your time with any off-screen stuff, but there we go. That's in, right where it goes. So I'm gonna have to bend this piece of foam out of the way. I think there was one on the bottom here. Yeah, you can't see that at all, can you? Could set the camera outside. That would be funny. There. So that one went on the bottom down there. And this one we're gonna do on the top, right there. There, that's that. Stick our foam back on there to help insulate it. Come around to the other side. And we've got some screws, one here, one up top. There we go. I see a little bit more water droplets in here now, so a little more to dry off. Remember, we do want to get it as dry as we possibly can. You could wait, you could let it sit and dry out, or you can do it manually like this and dry it to the best of your ability. All right, let's put the back panel back on. We'll make sure these little stays are out of the way. We'll give this a quick wipe just to be thorough. Watch out for the motor and this little piece because it can get caught around there. So we'll bring it in at an angle, kind of like this. There it is, getting in the way. Line it up in the back. This is so much harder to do indoors than it is taking the thing outside. I think I got it. Yep. These screws over here, the screw holes are lined up, and that's what we want to look for, and you want to make sure these wires are kind of clear of that. And those screw holes are lined up. And I run my hand along the back. Yep, that's good. Okay, so let's install just the screws, not the mounts. One screw in the top hole here. And then one more on the other side. I'm not gonna move the camera over here. You're smart enough to know how that works. Okay, that's that. Whoopsie, I forgot a few screws, and so we're actually cutting back here. This is future me at the end of the video coming in. There's two screws that go in the top of this portion, right here and right here. And then we'll cut back to me doing the next portion. And then we need to put the front panel back on, and we need to reconnect our connectors as we do that. So we're gonna start with these two. Let me bring the camera around for that, or we'll do it kind of like this. I'm gonna grab the little white piece that anchors this. I'm gonna set it on top here. Okay, and I'm kind of pressing this with my leg up here. Can you see this well enough? Let's see. Yeah, you can see it well enough. Ah. Connect that back. Connect white back. Whoa, don't lose balance. There we go, and then grab the little anchor that holds this locked. There we go, that side's good. Come over to the other side, grab our Wi-Fi adapter, reconnect that where it goes. There, that's done. Now this is just hanging on with wires. Now, I'm gonna pop it back in. Start at the top, like that, and then bring it around to the sides. I'm gonna make sure that our front panel fits in here where the fan is. And that wire is getting stuck over on that side. There we go, that's in. Popping it all back together, like that. There we go, and it is reassembled. And then once you got the front panel back on, we've got the three little screws that go top right, bottom right, and bottom left. That's not it. Right there. Okay. Now we need to clean our little screen. Our cleaned filter goes back in. And we'll cut back to the next part of the video. Oh, clean this off. Wipe off that bit of dust right there. Now we'll cut back to the right part of the video. Don't forget to reinstall your little brackets that hold it in place. So is this the right one for that side? Yes, it is. We've got this. It goes down here. Hey, where are you going? Get it mounted on the end of the magnet there. You don't need instructions on how to do this. You installed it the first time. You know what to do. And I'm not going to show you both sides, so you know what to do. All right, totally reassembled. Power on. Sounds like everything's working. I'm gonna set it to fan. Just let the fan run and dry it. Wait, I mean, I don't know if the dry mode would help it dry out even more. Probably. I'll set it to dry. And I'm gonna let it run for a while to dry itself out after that process. That's all there is to it. It's totally clean. So, like I said, prevention for the future is decide about what time you usually turn it off and program it to automatically run the fan for an hour after that. Once or twice a year, just turn it off, let it go down to sleep. And then once it's done that and the motor's off, just open it up and spray a little vinegar in there. And then turn it on and let it run the fan, I guess, to dry out the vinegar. The other thing is make sure that when you install it, that it has enough of a slope on the back to drain. So ours didn't have a nightmare of mold in them. And I think it's because I keep them at a pretty aggressive slant back so that they drain properly. And that's about all there is to it. Like I said, we're gonna see what the repair person does to repair it. Maybe he'll put some sort of drain in it, but when he gets here and sees how clean they are, you might be a little confused. But anyway, give it a go. Questions in the comments. A little trick that helped me out here is in the videos that I watched, I got bits and pieces, and then I read the comments for further stuff. And so the videos where I saw where somebody was taking apart this stuff to kind of get in here and clean it, and then I saw another video where a guy was like, you take off these other screws and that whole fan housing comes off. So that's a little bit of research, a little bit of reading the comments. You can find out more, go deeper on your DIYs, and then you've got all the knowledge to give the complete package, like I just did for you here. So give this a go. Let me know what questions you have. You know, it sucks that I had to do it, but it's really not that hard. And if there hadn't been a recall, I might not have checked it. And so I'm kind of glad that I saw and that I fixed it so that we can be healthy. And then I'm just going to keep in mind to do these steps to keep it clean, because it's still the best window unit. And so I'm not shipping it back and I'm not cutting the cord and not using it anymore. I need a window air conditioner. It's the best. And we just need to take a little better care of it, as far as I can tell. That's all I got. So thanks for watching, and I'm sorry it was so long. And I'll see you next time.